The first announcement I would like to make is about our ongoing charity initiative in the Philippines. So, last meeting and a few meetings back too, we were talking about funding a school in the Philippines, Libuton Elementary School. So now we have officially donated $900, worth about 50,000 Philippine pesos, to the elementary school to help build a new high-quality fence. This fence will protect the campus and ensure the students' safety, especially in periods such as election times in the Philippines, which generally have a lot of crime there. Additionally, we're also preparing additional fundraising activities to support the school with educational materials, books, and other resources. So, Mr. Huntley, as you can see in this photo, our adult advisor has has especially made a trip to the Philippines to in person hand over the money to the school principal. And this is a picture of him on the plane. Additionally, I also included a photo here of a paper which shows the costs of items for building the new fence. And this just lists like the items and their total cost, and it's signed by the principal of the elementary school. So this is just proof that they've they're actually building a fence and they've already started buying like the materials. And just for like context, this is a photo in from Google Images of the of Libuton Elementary School, and you can see it's in a pretty like rural and impoverished area, and this is the old fence of the school. Obviously, you can see it's not very sturdy, and it doesn't look like it's going to keep unwanted outsiders out. So they obviously need like a new fence. So this fence will help make sure the students there are safe, and especially because sometimes in that area, for example, during election season, there may be like more crime, which might endanger students. Okay, so I would just, before we move on, like to express my deep appreciation and gratitude for Mr. Huntley, who especially made this trip to the Philippines to help us donate to Libuton Elementary School. So thank you, Mr. Huntley, and yeah. So a second announcement I would like to make is that we are now selling leaf vein bookmarks. So these are some photos of the bookmarks, and you can also visit the page in the Hoperation Fund website for more details. These bookmarks are a really ancient and beautiful form of art. Each bookmark is made from the vein of a leaf. So they basically take a leaf and they peel off the skin and process it to extract the vein underneath. And each one is sealed in either plastic or resin and has a picture on it. And you can see here, this is a bookmark I have, a leaf vein bookmark. And you can see you can flip it over, like this is the front side, and you can flip it over to see like the like,
Olivia, I cannot see you. Maybe you want to stop sharing so people can see you.
oh, you guys can see me? Okay, hold on.
When you share screen, I
Okay,
cannot see.
I'll stop sharing. Okay, can you guys see this? So this is one of the bookmarks we're selling, and you can see on the back is a leaf vein. Note that, fun fact, each of these leaf veins is unique, and there's no two leaf veins that are the same, kind of like zebra stripes or fingerprints. And here are some other ones.
How much
This
is
one has a panda on it.
how much is one bookmark?
It depends on how many you buy. You can visit the Hoperation Fund website. There are seven different colors. Oh wait, what? Hold on. Oopsies. What am I doing?
You can go to that website and show.
Wait. Aha. Go. So you can go to the website here. Let's see. Yeah. And then there are pictures of these bookmarks. These are an amazing gift for students, book lovers, and art lovers alike. It's 7 different colors. Each bookmark is $3 each, tax included. If you're buying 1 to 3, and if you're buying 4 to 10, it's $2.50. For more than 10, it's $2.30. And if you want to place an order, please email me with the quantity of bookmarks, preferred color, and your mailing address. Yes, they're handmade.
Thanks.
And okay, so this is like again a great gift and a great bookmark. I personally use a lot of these too in my books. For example, this one has a bookmark in it. And yeah, note that all of the sales proceeds from this are contributed to the Hoperation Fund and they're put into the investment portfolio. And most of the money from this are going to go to to fund Libuton Elementary School and help buy more books for these students. So
And
effectively,
uh,
by buying these, you're donating to charity. Yeah.
Olivia, maybe you want to show in the back of the package, there is also description about the bookmark, right?
Oh yeah, forgot.
In
So
Chinese and
in each
English.
package, you have like a bookmark in the package, and at the back, there's also like a description of the bookmark and like the history of these bookmarks for like more information, you know? Okay. So moving on, I would like to make a third announcement. This one is about VPs or vice presidents of chapter. So VP of chapter positions are now open. Recently, a few nonprofits have been contacting me and looking to connect and collaborate with them. So this may mean an increase in like new members. And so therefore, with a greater increase in new members, we need, of course, more vice president of chapters. So here's the link to the application form, and applications are due August 30th. So at the end of August. Now is not a better time to apply to be a vice president of chapter. Not only is it a great way to and a great experience to practice your leadership skills and be able to like lead a large group of people. Also, with more and more members coming, the threshold for becoming a vice president of chapter might increase too. So, this right now is a great time to become a VP of chapter. Oh yeah, asked, have you also sold the bookmarks on eBay and Amazon? That can increase funding. Yeah, that's a great idea. Um, I think we could definitely sell them on eBay and Amazon. I was thinking we could do like because around Dallas in the DFW area, there's a lot of festivals where people will set up booths and sell things. I was thinking I could also do one of those local ones. Selling the bookmarks online is actually a great idea. Yeah. That would ensure more people would like see them. Yeah.
If anyone want to have your stuffs want to sell, and contribute to Hoperation Fund, please welcome to do that, and you can share your ideas and also what goods you want to sell for the fundraising. That would be great. These bookmarks are personal donated by Olivia because she her grandparents like 3 years ago or mailed her lots of bookmarks. So she have wrote bookmarks that she would like to donate to Operation Fund and increase the selling the profit and also the fees who she collected will be donated to Operation Fund.
Yeah, as June said. So, also said, then you could sell them for more than $3. I know people would buy them for around $5 to $10. Wait, you do? Do you think people would buy them for more money?
Yeah, of course, because they're handmade, they are beautiful. And then also, since they're handmade, that increases the value. So, yeah, instead of just $3, you could probably sell them for around 7.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you. So
No
do you
problem.
think you personally would buy them for $7?
Yeah.
I would say, the process of the bookmark is definitely have human intervention. Uh, the print is not like drawn by
Oh
people.
yeah, the tassels, like these things, are handmade, I think, but the print is probably not. It's probably like just printed.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the leaves, like how to get rid of the leaves and only save the waste. Those process might be have a human intervention.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe like $3 to $5.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we have better selling, maybe we can increase. You don't, because at this moment we don't know how much money people would like to buy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's a good idea. Thank you for your recognition.
no problem.
Okay, great. So okay. And now um I so now let me make a final announcement. I know we have a lot of announcements. So this one is about investment resources. So next academic year, starting from September, we will have new financial lectures, and these may focus more on fundamental analysis and financial statement interpretation. And I'll talk more about this later. So, for old members who may need to revisit the material we covered this year, there is a page in the Hoperation Fund titled Investing Resources, as you can see from the screenshots. And that page has a lot of clips of videos with like different investing knowledge and things like that. So if you want to like brush up on the things we learned this year, you can visit that page and like click on the boxes to watch clips of the videos. Additionally, new members who missed previous meetings and want to catch up on previous material can also visit this page. Actually, I'll just go to this page so you guys can see. Okay. Yeah. So you guys can click here, for example, if you want to learn about um the compounding effect and the time value of money, you can go here. Today, I'm going to talk about. Okay. And if you want to maybe watch about discounted cash flow, you can click here. So just a note. So this is just like some extra material and resources if you need them. Yeah. Now let's move on to our financial news. So I think Sebastian isn't going to be here today, but I think Arav and William are here today. So Arav, William, would you guys like to share your financial news reports?
I will.
Okay, that's great.
Well, I chose to research the renewable energy sector. So the renewable energy sector is expected to have a significant growth in 2025 because of global efforts to address climate change. Renewable energy means that there is low to no discharge. The main idea behind renewable energy is to minimize the release of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrogen oxides, which contribute to air pollution and climate change. Solar energy is still the biggest renewable energy sector. India, China, and the United States of America are expected to see solar PV share of their electricity reach 10% or higher. Solar PV is photovoltaic solar systems. Photovoltaic solar systems harness energy from the sun's radiation and convert it into electricity. Despite all of this, Trump's tariffs will have a major impact, which will send the prices down. Offshore wind energy is growing mainly in Europe, where capacity is set to double in 2025. The United Kingdom, Germany, and Denmark are the leading uh, countries in offshore wind energy. The electrical vehicle EV sector is also set to grow in 2025. Its major companies are Tesla and Ford. Due to the big beautiful bill, renewable energy will be more expensive for some people. This may affect the demand and the prices. Some ETFs that are in the renewable energy sector are the iShares Global Clean Energy, also known as ICLN. This one tracks the S&P Global Clean Energy Index. Also, there's the Alps Clean Energy, also known as the ACES. This ETF focuses on United States and Canadian clean energy. I think that you should invest in these because in the future, renewable energy will get bigger. This is good for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arav, for that amazing report on clean energy. I know clean energy is like a pretty big macro trend right now, so it's good to know more about it and about the companies involved with it. So thank you. I think William, would you like to share next?
Yes, so my report's going to revolve around the financial news that's happened in the past month, a little bit about tariffs with what Arav has already said, and energy and, well, Warren Buffett stepping down. So first things first, is with energy. So um, I find that there's huge market potential within the energy sector as AI becomes a big thing. Companies will definitely need a lot of power to power these AI data centers. And so, yeah, um, sorry, what was this one? Natural gas will be could be a very big source of energy for these companies, and actually a really some energy companies are thinking about IPOing or offering stocks for an IPO, so that's something to look out on. President Trump signed a sweeping $4.6 trillion bill into law on July 4th. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. Among other things, it had a lot of tax cuts and had a Jobs Act. And then a big focus is that Warren Buffett's retirement. Berkshire Hathaway stock, his own personal hedge fund, is down 11% since he announced his retirement at age of 94. He will be stepping down as CEO, but he will remain chairman. Greg Abel, his longtime Berkshire executive, will take over as CEO. And while Buffett has praised Abel's leadership, many investors remain apprehensive to Warren Buffett stepping down due to the fact that he is the one who made Berkshire Hathaway what it is, using his very genius insurance and reinvestment formula, as well as his various stock portfolio strategies, into making Berkshire Hathaway what it is. And so it's basically like, what now? A lot of investors who are invested in Berkshire Hathaway are kind of looking at what might be in the future and whatnot. Along that, a lot of investors that are actually looking towards other hedge funds to invest in instead of Berkshire Hathaway, to see if this readjustment with a change in leadership will even out. The U.S. government has, I believe, once again delayed tariffs to August 1st, 2025. And so a lot of investors continue to be bracing for those tariffs to go into effect on August 1st. But funny thing is that they might probably be delayed again. So that pretty much wraps up my financial news of this past month. Summer's usually pretty calm, as I said. Warren Buffett's going to step down. The one big beautiful bill is probably going to have some market effects, but some of them we still do not know.
Okay, thank you, William, for that overview of what's been happening this past month, from energy and what's happening at Berkshire Hathaway to Trump's new policies and tariffs. So thank you for that report. That was a really excellent news report. So thank you, William and Arav, for just taking the time to make these reports so we can all be informed on what's happening in the financial news markets. Oh, that's great, Arav, that you can do this financial news report again next meeting. Then that's great. We already have Arav who's doing it next month, or like next meeting. Does anyone else want to do a news report next meeting? Okay, William, that's great. Okay. Okay. Does anyone else want to make a financial news report? Okay. Thank you then, William and the Rob, for continuing to be our financial news reporters. And yeah. Okay. So continuing from our excellent financial news reports, now let's talk about our investment portfolio. The return in June of the Hoperation Fund investment portfolio was 9.05%. Currently, we now have around $25,000 in the investment portfolio. In comparison, SPY and QQQ only earned 5.14% and 6.4% in June. In June, I sold a small portion of my shares of Google and used the available cash and as well as dividends from other stocks to purchase more shares of Nvidia and Meta. So now the total return since its inception, since June 2023, is now 84.2%. So that was about 2 years ago, and it's really exciting to see that after 2 years, our investment portfolio has had such big returns. Again, in comparison, SPY and QQ during that time period only has returns of 52% and 61%. So you can see the Hoperation Fund has much higher returns. While the year-to-date of the Hoperation Fund hasn't, since the beginning of this year, 2025, hasn't outperformed SPY or QQQ yet. I believe that over the long term, because of the Hoperation Fund's extensive focus on holding long-term, high-quality stocks, I believe we will have much, much, much higher returns than SPY and QQQ. So, what about the market analysis as of today? In my opinion, based on the long-term investment model of the Hoperation Fund, the midterm and long-term market direction is currently bullish. And if you want more information on that long-term investment model, you can go to the Hoperation Fund's website and go to the blog post about it. The short-term market sentiment, according to the CNN Fear and Greed Index, which is 75, is nearing extremely greedy. So I would suggest having most of your position values in stocks with relatively little in cash or cash equivalents, long-term bonds, and gold. On the other hand, for market valuation, the stock or like the S&P 500 is still largely overvalued. The S&P 500 P ratio is 29.83 and the 10-year treasury yield is 4.417%. And as I've said before in many different meetings, it's a general rule that if you take the reciprocal of the 10-year treasury yield, you get a generally good estimate of the fair value of the S&P 500's PE. So if you take the reciprocal of 4.417%, I think you get around, I think like, okay, 22.6-ish, I think, or 23.6. Anyways, as you can see, that's a huge gap between an, an estimation of the S&P 500's fair PE and the S&P 500's actual PE. And while of course, in most like good markets and like stable economies, generally the S&P 500 is always slightly overvalued. However, this is a pretty big gap, so just watch out. Additionally, here is a graph of the S&P 500's price and its price according to different P ratios. So you can see here, this line is the S&P 500's price plotted over a few years. And the red line, green lines, and blue lines are the S&P 500's like fair price if its P ratio was 50, 15, oh, sorry, it was 20, 15, and 10. From this graph, you can see the S&P 500 is generally slightly above this red line. And this red line is the S&P 500's price if its PE was 20. You can see it's always like slightly above this red line. So it's like price is slightly overvalued. And you can see where its price like differs greatly from the red line. The S&P 500 stock price comes crashing down back to the red line, kind of like gravity. So you can see here where the S&P 500's price deviated a lot from the red line. It experienced a market crash and its price came back down. And here where the difference between the S&P 500's price and this red line is again pretty high. it experiences another crash and comes back down again. So right now, the S&P 500's price is up here. And the S&P 500's price, if its P was 20, so like slightly overvalued, is here. And you can see that's a pretty big gap. And before here, like around the end of 2024, you can see the S&P 500 was also, its price also differed a lot from this red line. And then afterwards, at the beginning of 2025, it experienced a market crash and came slightly back down again. So right now the price has risen again, and while this isn't like a general rule, or like it's not 100% certain that the S&P 500 will experience a market crash. Maybe it will keep on rising. This is just something to like watch out for and just like to be more cautious.
So does it mean the market, because SP 500 is overpriced a lot, so if there's a recession coming, it's possible that it will go down a lot, and then there's a lot of room to go down. If it go down, it can even pass over the overvalue P threshold is 20. Does it mean this way?
It doesn't mean that. Maybe it will, but maybe it's likely that it will, but it's also likely that it won't. This is just something to like note, and so you should be like more cautious. So my point of showing you guys this is not to like say there will be a crash coming. Oh no, you should prepare or anything. This is just so you can, just to tell you guys that you guys should be more cautious, a little bit more cautious, and not like 100% like happy and excited, like, oh, the stock market's going up, the S&P 500 is going up, yay! Just something to note.
Okay.
So now let's actually move on to like our actual investment lecture for today. And let me just start off with the picture of the month. And this isn't really a picture per se as a quote. And so, yeah, this quote is by Warren Buffett in his 2022 letter to Berkshire shareholders. And it reads, in 58 years of Berkshire management, most of my capital allocation decisions have been no better than so-so. Our satisfactory results have been the product of about a dozen truly good decisions. That would be about one every 5 years. So what is this quote saying? Basically, Warren Buffett is just saying that most of his investment decisions haven't been very good, and he only has a few like very good investment decisions which have made him a lot of money. And people might take this differently. Some people might think he's just modest. Some people might take this as it's super hard to pick a good stock, which it is. So there are many different takes on this quote. In my opinion, and this is just my take on it, I think one of the things I first thought about when I heard this quote was that not only is it pretty hard to pick like an actually really good company or a really good stock, you should also, as a general rule, like try to think more carefully before making an investment decision, right? Because there's a high likelihood that your investment decision might not turn out very satisfactory. For example, I think in another quote, not this one, Warren Buffett also said that if everyone could only make 20 investment decisions in their lifetime, like each time someone made an investment decision, they had to like check off a tiny square on a board or something, and then after they checked off 20 of those, they couldn't make any more investment decisions in their lifetime. Warren Buffett said that if someone could only make 20 investment decisions, their like investment performance might be much higher and they might make better investment decisions. And I agree with that because it can't hurt to like always think more and research more before you buy or sell a company. And if everyone could like think more and like research more and look at more articles online, maybe talk to some customers of a company's products or services, maybe look at their fundamentals and statistics and read their financial statements. If you could like if you could think more carefully before buying or selling a stock, I think you would have a higher chance to make a good investment decision. So that's just my take on it. If you guys have any different thoughts, please let me know or like share in the chat. Okay. So going on to the actual like official investment lecture, today I'm going to be talking about different kinds of accounts. And you guys, some of you might think that's a little basic or a little simple, but it's always good to like know about your different accounts. And anyways, the first step of personal finance is to actually like start an account and start either like saving or investing. So the first two types of accounts I'm going to talk about is checking and saving accounts. A checking account, you guys probably have heard of this. A checking account lets you deposit money and withdraw money using debit cards, checks, and online transfers. Most checking accounts are for adults, but there are a few that are for teens or kids. For example, this Capital One bank account for teens, or this Chase debit card for kids 6 to 17, or this Fidelity investment account for teenagers 13 to 17. So these are all accounts that let us kids actually be able to get into personal finance or investing. On the other hand, savings accounts are places for short-term to mid-term savings, unlike checking accounts. You can use the saving accounts to save up for things like vacations and holiday gifts, or a car, or a TV or anything, or even longer term items like a wedding or the down payment for a house. So you may be asking, what are some differences between checking and saving accounts? As I said before, mm, checking accounts are basically for like daily activities or spending or shopping, while saving accounts are for short-term or mid-term saving. So you don't really withdraw the money from a saving account often. Additionally, saving accounts technically pay more interest. You are not allowed to frequently withdraw money from it. In contrast, you withdraw money regularly and frequently from your checking account. And checking accounts also have debit cards, and you can use those debit cards to withdraw money from ATMs. So here's a hands-on activity for you guys. So assume you're going to open a saving account and you want to find the saving account from the bank the that is the best. Maybe it has the highest has the highest interest rate. So to do that, you need to look at many different banks, and instead of just typing on Google and searching saving accounts up on Google, you can go to a website called bankrate.com, and this website will let you like compare many different banks. So how about everybody, let's type this. I'm gonna do this with you, and then type bankrate.com into your search bar, and then you pull up this page. Click on high yield savings, and then it takes you to this page with all these different banks and savings accounts. So take the time and try to find the best one in your mind. Maybe some people, they might just directly go to the savings account that gives them the highest interest rate or savings rate. But generally, those banks are generally smaller banks that offer higher rates to try and attract more customers. So these smaller banks might not be the um, safest bank. So some people might try and find a larger, more famous bank that may be less riskier and has an okay interest rate. So how about let's take maybe 5 minutes to look through these, and then afterward, we can come back and discuss which bank you would choose and why. This is just an interactive activity so you guys can get some hands-on experience, you know? Okay, so are you guys mostly done? Do you guys?
Yes.
Oh, you're done? Okay. Does anyone need more time? If you do, please say so. If not, we can continue. Okay. Okay, that's great. So I think we're already getting responses in the chat. Okay, if you have a bank that you think is the best, please put it in the chat, or you can unmute and just blurt it out. Okay, Chloe said I would choose SoFi, and then okay, so SoFi. Also, by the way, you can click this thing, like this, check this box, and you can compare multiple banks. Okay. Ohm said Capital One. Capital One is here. Oh yeah, Capital One is a more famous bank. Oh, SoFi is pretty famous too, I guess. Mostly it's stock. What's oh yeah, Arov, what's Sit? Oh, Sit Bank? Okay. Or SoFi. Okay. So let's compare these. Here you see that Sit Bank's highest APY is 4%, then SoFi's is 3.8%, and then Capital One is 3.5%. Hi, William said, I'm sorry I have to leave early. I have a class. Okay then, and that's fine then. Bye, William. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to today's meeting. Okay. Citibank, back to the bank comparisons. Citibank has a minimum balance of $5,000, and then for estimated earnings, you can see here. Mm. So does anyone else have a bank they think is best? Here you can see people's choices are pretty interesting. Some want like more higher APYs, and some want to stick to like more famous banks. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go back to the slideshow. Okay, so that was a pretty fun hands-on activity for you guys, so you guys get some experience on like researching different savings accounts. A second type of account I want to share today are retirement accounts. And a type of retirement account is a 401k or Roth 401k. So when you have a job, you're in a company, your employer may open a 401k and or a Roth 401k for you. They are both employee-sponsored retirement savings plans, and many companies can match your contribution to these accounts. So what does matching your contribution mean? So some companies will match they'll match your contribution with like a percentage, like 5% or 6%, or a dollar amount, like $900, for example. Basically, what they're saying when they say they'll match your contribution is basically say you have, let's say, $1,000 in your that you put in your 401k. So if your company, for example, matches 5%, then basically they will, based on how much you put into your 401k, they will give you 5% of that, an additional 5% of that. So 5% of $1,000 is, I think, $50. Mm, so your employer will give you an additional $50. So you end up with $1,050. Or some employers will uh, some employers will match a dollar amount. For example, you have to contribute a minimum of of some amount of money to your 401k, and then your employer will give you a dollar amount, such as like $900. And so it's basically just free money. There are a few differences between a 401k and a Roth 401k. A 401k is contributed with pre-tax earned dollars. So after you earned your income or your salary, you you take some money from your salary and you can straight straight up put it into your 401k account. Then since you didn't pay income taxes before, after when you withdraw the money in retirement, you will need to pay income taxes on it. With a Roth 401k, you you contribute money to your account with your after-tax earned dollars. So after you get your income or your salary, you first have to get taxed, and then you can put that money into your account. Since you are already taxed, you don't need to pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement. As long as you're, of course, older than 59 years old and the account is at least 5 years old. So when you put your money into your 401k or Roth 401k retirement account, you can take that money and invest it in equities such as stock or bonds or ETFs, and then you can and then that will just help you earn money on the sidelines for retirement purposes. When your annual income is low, generally a Roth 401k is a better choice because if you only have a little bit of money to put in your Roth 401k, um, a little bit of tax doesn't really matter that much to you, versus if you have a lot more money. Another type of retirement account is an individual retirement account, or IRA. You need to have earned income in order to open a traditional IRA and or a Roth IRA account yourself. The earned income can be salary from a job, such as um, a summer job or like full-time or part-time, wages paid from internships, self-employment or freelance work, teaching or tutoring with income reported on a tax return, etc. So this type of account doesn't really need a company to open. Again, as before, there are pretty much the same differences between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. A traditional IRA, with a traditional IRA, the money you contribute to your IRA is possibly tax deductible, depending on your income. Then, when you withdraw the money in retirement, you need to pay income taxes. With a Roth IRA, the money contributed in it is with after-tax earned dollars. So since you are already taxed, you don't need to be taxed when you withdraw the money in retirement. As before, when your annual income is low, a Roth IRA is a better choice. So now some people may be wondering if like how much how much money or when should I put my money into a retirement account. So this is where this thing called a ladder of personal finance comes in. So assuming you're an adult and you have a full-time or part-time job, you can save or invest your money based on the following steps in order. This, of, of course, this ladder of personal finance is basically just a list of steps from like the first one you should do to the last one you should do. And you don't need to like strictly follow these. It's just for you to keep track of your own money and what you should do with that money. So, of course, the first step in this ladder of personal finance is just to pay off all your short-term debts and your interests of long-term debts. Then, after you've paid off all your debts and expenses, you should put enough money in your 401k or your Roth 401k to get 100% of your company's match. Because, of course, that's just free money. And you should try to like get as much free money as you can. After you've put enough money to get 100% of your company's match, then you put money in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. And the limit to how much money you can put in that is $7,000. If there is some money left over after putting it into a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, then you can put the rest of the money into a 401k or a Roth 401k. And finally, if there's some money left over, put the money in a regular, non-retirement, taxable investment account or a saving account and checking account. Of course, if you are a youth and hopefully you don't have to pay for your own living expenses, you can save or invest the money you earn based on the following steps in order. And there are only basically two steps. Since you don't have a 401k, you can just put all your money in a Roth IRA. And then afterwards, if you have money left over, then you should put it into a regular taxable investment account, a saving account, and checking account. A second question that some people may have is on how to like allocate the money they earn. And so again, this is where something called the 60% solution comes in. And this 60% solution was proposed by Richard Jenkins. He found that the times people felt most financially secure was not when they were earning a certain amount, but when they were spending under a certain percentage of their income. He found that when the committed expenses, which is basically necessities plus non-essentials you're committed to, were within 60% of your income, most people felt more in control of their money. So this 60% solution led to this pie chart. And this pie chart is basically organized into 5 categories. Your basic expenses, which should take up approximately 60% of your income. For fun, short-term saving, long-term saving, and retirement saving. Of course, you should not like strictly follow the 60% solution, and you can adjust these percentages depending on like yourself. For example, if you think your basic expenses may need to take up more of your income, you can adjust that to 70%. Or if you want to invest more of your income in your retirement saving, you can adjust that to 20% or anything. It's really depending on you. So the point of the 60% solution is not to like strictly follow it, but for you to organize yourself and to like organize your spending depending on your current circumstances, your income, or your own personal requirements. So just for fun, and this is a game, and this is just like a quick game, I listed a few items or expenses here, and let's see if we can like put them into a correct category. So would everyone like please unmute or like type in the chat? Uh, okay. Oh yeah, I think I just missed. Oh, it's okay. So, anyways, moving on to the game. Um, so I will just go through each of these items quickly, one by one, and you guys can tell me which category you think they belong to. So, what category do you guys think basic food and clothing belongs to? Okay, Om said basic expenses. Oliver said basic expenses. Yeah, that's right. Basic food and clothing should be in your basic expenses category. How about electricity and gas bills? Okay, basic expenses. Okay.
Can we do round table? We can call each of person in turns to do the category.
Okay, that works too. I think we only have a few people here. So, how about each one, everybody, I'll just call out your name one by one, and you can tell me, like, and I'll assign you an item, and you can tell me what category you think they belong to. Okay, so how about Chloe? Uh, what, which category do you think house mortgage belongs to?
Uh, Basic expenses.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unless you're like saving up for a house mortgage, generally it's basic expenses. Okay. How about Paxton? What category do you think car insurance belongs to?
Basic expenses.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Um, After all, it's like a committed expense if you have a car. Okay, so how about that? Those are pretty obvious, all basic expenses. How about Danielle? Which category does movies on Saturday night belong to?
For fun.
Huh? For fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. That definitely belongs to for fun because it's not like a necessary expense. How about okay. How about Om? How about restaurant at weekend? Which category do you think that belongs to?
For fun.
For fun? Great. How about gym membership fee? Oliver, which category do you think that belongs to?
For fun. It might
Mhm.
also be short-term saving or basic
Okay.
expenses. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting viewpoint. That you could put that in for fun, or if you're trying to save for a gym membership fee, you could put that in short-term saving. Personally, I feel like I would put it in basic expenses because after all, it's something that like you're committed to. So after you decide to go to the gym, you have to pay for a gym membership fee. Of course, some people might think that's optional or something, and they want to put it for fun. So I think that could go either way. How about money for a Roth IRA account? Chloe?
Basic, probably like, uh, maybe like long-term saving, retirement saving, my bad, retirement saving.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, that would definitely go into retirement saving. Although that's still a pretty tricky one because some people might think that's like a basic necessity. Okay, so that's retirement saving. Anyways, you guys are pretty good at this. So how about this summer's vacation? Paxton?
Would that be for fun?
Maybe. Yeah, I think it could be for fun. It could be for short-term saving because generally sometimes because it's like this summer's, and assuming it's like a school year or something, or sometimes for like a vacation, you might save for it ahead of time. So I think yeah, that could go either. Personally, I think it would be short-term saving, but yeah. Okay, how about teachers' holiday gifts? Daniel?
Uh, teacher's holiday gift is for fun.
Mm. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that might be for fun, too, I guess. Okay, I can see your point. So it honestly it depends on like when that holiday is and again your income. If that holiday is in the future, in my opinion, I think I might put it in short-term saving. But if I have like a large income and that holiday is like in the very near future, might be for fun. How about comic books? Ohm?
Fun.
Yeah, great. How about Oliver? Emergency fund?
Maybe, yeah, that would be basic expenses.
Wait, you said basic expenses?
Yes,
Interesting. Okay. That could go to basic expenses too. And I guess I kind of agree with you. I think that could either go with basic expenses or short-term saving, because like technically like you're saving the money for one day if you have an emergency, like you need to go to the hospital or you got into a car accident or something to like use it.
Yeah,
How about
maybe medical fund should go to basic saving. Emergency fund, that is something probably you don't know when it will happen. So it can go to short-term saving. Just my opinion.
yeah, I agree with your opinion, Jean or Mrs. Zhang. Okay, so how about Chloe? What category do you think rent belongs to?
Basic expenses.
Mm. How about Paxton? How about money prepared to buy a new car?
Would that be short-term saving?
Yeah, maybe. I might put in short-term saving, might put in long-term saving. Anyways, probably like a short long-term saving. And finally, how about Daniel? Buying expensive party clothing.
Uh, buying budget party clothing is for fun.
Mm. Okay, um, great. I think I would either put it in for fun or short-term saving. Um, it's like debatable, but yeah. Okay, so that's the end of this game. It's for you guys to like think a little bit about like which item belongs to which category. And yeah. So that's the end of today's investment lecture. Um, and then and this is actually the last meeting for this academic year. In the upcoming academic year from 2025 to 2026, beginning in September 2025, the financial lectures will revisit some content from the current year, supplemented with newly updated material about fundamental analysis. Additionally, some senior members may also be invited to teach portions of the curriculum if they want. Additionally, a new thing that will begin next year is that the lectures will place a strong emphasis on fundamental analysis and financial statement interpretation. So, besides talking about some of the things we covered this year, I will also include more material about like how to analyze a company based on like your income statement, your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, etc. In the upcoming academic year, our student meetings will be held on the first Sunday of each month. However, the meeting time isn't fixed yet, so let's so we can discuss that. So here I put in the chat. This is the form for the for meeting times, and when you click into it, it will just basically ask you a little bit about your feedback on these monthly meetings and also on like what times you're available. I will also later um, I will also later send an email about this with like the forum link to you guys too. So yeah, that's it for today's meeting. Again, if you think these monthly meetings and lectures are helpful to you, please introduce the Hoperation Fund to your friends, family members, other people you know. And yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
new academic year is free to everyone, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, additionally, next year all of the meetings will be free too. So you can definitely introduce it to your friends or family, like cousins or anything, and they should definitely come because it's all free. And yeah.
Thank you.